Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Have At It, episode 14. It is an early episode today. We're here live here on the Ben Zone and also on Ben Cornet 9015. Also at Twitter, Benny Boys 702. And then if you're an Instagram guy, you can follow me right there at Ben702 forever.com. And by the way, happy St. Patrick's Day. Rocking the green today, as you know. I got the corned beef in the crock pot, slow cooking right now, so I'll enjoy that later on today. So why don't we get right into it? We're gonna go ahead and got a lot of stuff to talk about, as you know. Put it there on the ticker today. Have at it, episode 14. By the way, please like and share the show. That would be greatly appreciated. So let's get right to it. As you know, it's been a very important week in sports. Obviously, we got March Madness going on, as well as the NFL. We got a lot of free agent signings, a lot of moves happening right now. But we're going to start out with the Tampa Bay Bucks. As you know, I'm a Bucks fan, and I know a lot of viewers on the Ben Zone, YouTube, Twitter are Bucks fans as well. So obviously, some of the most important signings of the day for the week is obviously the Bucks signing Baker Mayfield. This is a very interesting signing, to say the least, and I will not hide my feelings on it. I'm not the biggest fan of Baker Mayfield, but at the same time, he's now a Buck, so we're going to root for him, see what he can do with this team. Obviously, this was a move that the Bucks feel like they need a veteran quarterback here to compete with Kyle Trask, because Kyle Trask, for one, is the only quarterback signed to the Bucks currently until Mayfield has been officially signed. So now you got two QBs on the roster. It's an interesting move, to say the least. I know, and he's a polarizing, personality. Some people like Baker Mayfield, others don't, from whether it's a personal standpoint or a football standpoint. Now, for me, I'm not the biggest Baker Mayfield fan. I think he's just an average QB. Not bad, not a bad quarterback, but not a quarterback that you can say, okay, this guy can lead us to a Super Bowl or deep into the playoffs for the next 5-10 years. At this point, this is just a 1-year deal. It's worth $8 million and some incentives with it. They say this is competition for Kyle Trask, but I don't believe that necessarily, because I feel like if you're bringing somebody like Baker Mayfield in, you're going to start him, especially if you're paying him $8 million. Now, you think, well, that's not a lot of money for a quarterback, but in today's market, it's fair, But at the same time, if my feelings on this is, if you're bringing in competition, let's say, for Kyle Trask, now, yeah, Baker Mayfield's done a lot. He's been to the playoffs, with the Cleveland Browns. I want to emphasize this very importantly. He helped Cleveland get to the playoffs. Some fans are saying, oh, he's the reason why the Browns made the playoffs a few years ago. No, he helped that team. He had a great offensive core. He had Odell Beckham. He had Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb, a good offensive line. He had Landry, David Njoku. He's had some great players around him. And to me, that's what Baker needs to be successful. Now, you can say that about a lot of quarterbacks, but the elite quarterbacks don't necessarily need great weapons to succeed. They can make some players around them better. For Baker's case, in his case, he needs great players around him. And he actually has that here in Tampa, which is good for him, because you got Mike Evans, you got Chris Godwin, you got Russell Gage, you got Rashad White, you got Kate Auden. So you got some pieces there. that he can succeed. Now the offensive line, that's going to be that'll be a question mark. But I will say real quick, we had some news today before we get back to Baker. We have some news today that came out of the NFL that the Cincinnati Bengals left tackle Jonah Williams has requested a trade. Now, the reason I say that is because the Bengals the other day signed Orlando Brown from the Kansas City Chiefs, supposedly to take over that position. So now Jonah is looking for a trade. And this is interesting because he's only 25 years old. He's played 47 games protecting Joe Burrow. He's a pretty good offensive lineman. Now, good left tackles do not just come and go. They're just not available as often as other free agents or in trades. I don't see why the Bucs can't try and make a trade for this guy. I mean, he's played in a Super Bowl. He's been to the playoffs. He has the experience. He's protected one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL in Joe Burrow. I mean, if the Bucs are still in that win now mode, I mean, why not take a stab at him? Try to see what you can get. I'm all for it at this point because, again, we released Donovan Smith, obviously, financial reasons. But, you need to get somebody to replace that position. Now, the talk is around Tampa that Tristan Wirfs is going to move to the left tackle side, which he can play. But if you see somebody out there like a Jonah Williams who is available in a trade, why not? If you're the Bucs, why not go after somebody like that? Try to get some experience on that line. Then that way you don't have to move Wirfs. You can stay on the right side. And I mean, right there, your offensive line automatically upgrades. It does. It just does. And I think that's something the Bucs should look at. Those are the kind of moves I want to see. And yeah, people say, well, offensive linemen, that's not very attractive. Well, they're the main reason why your team does well or does not do well. And as we saw last year with all the injuries, with the rotation of offensive linemen going here and there, playing in different spots, you see how important that is. I would do it. Let me know what you think, Bucs fans. Should we try and trade for Jonah Williams? I'm all for it. I'm in favor of it. Let's see what we can get for him, Again, but back to Baker. Again, it's just a one-year deal. And I'm going to be honest with you. I feel like this is a move that, for one, the Bucs still want to win now. And I think Baker's going to be starting week 1. Unless, there's an injury or something like that, which we don't wish upon anybody. I just don't see how Trask beats out Baker Mayfield. Maybe he can, but I just think this is one of those moves where they want to win now. And this also tries to save Todd Bowles' job. That's my personal opinion. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. And I'll get to those comments in a little bit. But I want to get to some other signings, some re-signings, I should say, which actually makes me feel great, as a Bucs fan, and should for every Bucs fan. They were able to re-sign Lavonte David and Jamel Dean. Lavonte, I always thought was 50-50. I thought, hey, there's a chance he'll come back. The Bucs will do right by him. And he did. And he's still playing at a very good level now. He had some offers from other teams like Buffalo, Miami. And for him to resign on a one-year deal, to be here for $7 million, but he'll get incentives as well. I think that's great. We need that. We need him back. He's still playing at a very high level. And, he can definitely – Devin White plays better when Lavonte David's out there. It's a good 1-2 linebacking core. In that experience, again, this is a move that, tells us, hey, we're still in this. And in the NFC South, that division right now, it's still winnable. if you really think about it, I mean, sure, the Saints got Derek Carr. It's a good signing. He'll do some good things for him, but they also let go a lot of players, a lot of key pieces on defenses. Again, because like us, and the Saints have done this longer. They've been in cap hell for a long time, so they have to make some cuts and stuff. So, will their defense be as good as it was last year? We don't know. So, as far as Carolina goes, they're got the number 1 pick in the draft. After they made that trade with Chicago, most likely it's going to be a quarterback. I'm still in the theory that they could trade that number 1 pick for some guy in Baltimore who's a quarterback who currently is looking for all his money guaranteed. We won't say his name because I think you know who I'm talking about. But yeah, so Carolina, they got a new coach, Frank Reich, who's a quarterback himself in the NFL, good quarterbacks coach as well. So they could be drafting a quarterback at number, which was the most likely position they're going to draft. Where it's C.J. Stroud, Bryce Young, Will Levis, Anthony Richardson, even that's been talked about. So we'll see what they do there. And then Atlanta, they're making some moves. They got defense going on, making a couple signings there. And also was talk today, I read on profootballtalk.com, that the Falcons looking to try and move up in the draft. Again, that's interesting. If you're moving up in the draft, you must have a player you really like, that you're saying, okay, we need to get this guy before these teams above us grab him. Could that be a quarterback? Could that be a defensive player? Could that be like a Jalen Carter, perhaps? He played at Georgia. He would be home pretty much. So, we'll see what happens there. I mean, but anyway, that division, it's still in flux. It's still anybody's division to have. And with the Bucs signing, Baker Mayfield, or re-signing Levante, and let's talk about the other guy, Jamel Dean, who I got to be honest, I thought somebody else is going to snatch him, give him good money, he'd be playing somewhere else. But no, Jamel signed a 4-year deal, $52 million. Some incentives as well. That's a great signing. Once again, Jason Light and Mike Greenberg, really good job, and being able to get him back at a good price too, because Jamel is probably getting more offers with bigger money from other teams, and for the Bucs to be able to get Jamel Dean back and to get him for long term, it works out great. Him and Carlton Davis are top corners on the team. Now, what does that mean for like a Sean Murphy Bunting? Probably means he's out the door, and he'll get a good contract somewhere. But out of those two, SMB or Jamel Dean, I definitely take Jamel Dean, one of the better corners in the league. The interceptions might not be there, but you can't always judge it by interceptions. You got to judge by how well he covers the guy. He's one of the better cover corners in the league, very physical. So those are the traits of a good corner, and Jamel Dean is just that. So again, these are two great signings, re-signs, I should say. Levante back, Jamel Dean back. You keep that core together and that experience, and that's really going to help out the Bucs defense this year. We're also going to get Shaq Barrett back. Who knows? There's talk about him being in trades, perhaps. We don't know, but obviously because of the financial situation the Bucs are in. But again, we'll see what happens there. So it's looking pretty good for the Bucs. I'm not going to say this team. I'm hearing fans saying they're going to tank. They should tank for Caleb Williams and blah blah blah. Listen, this team's not going to tank. This team is going to be a team that I could see winning 9 games this year, perhaps, if everybody stays healthy. And, if the quarterback situation, whether it be Baker Mayfield or Kyle Trask, they can play well enough to not turn the ball over and, our offense clicks, and they got to stay healthy as well, I mean, sky's the limit. This division could be won. So it tells me that with these signings that this is a team that's not going to tank, despite what some fans say. They're in it to still win a winnable division. And, and I get, draft positioning and everything like, well, yeah, but if, we like win 6 or 7 games, our draft position is going to go down. Well, yeah, it could. But at the same time, there's more to it than just that. You got to remember, the Glazers, Light and company, they got to sell tickets. They can't. If you're going to try to tank, it tells me that it's going to show that there's not going to be fans in the seats in the stands. They don't want empty seats there. They're going to put a competitive team out there, no matter what. Okay, so give them credit. Again, they're trying to, and I've been on Light for years now. I've been on the Glazers, and in a way, I'm not a fan of the Glazers. Look, they inherited their father's team. They're not the best people, in my opinion. That's just me. I know I'll probably get some feedback, some hate comments. Just send them to my social media handles. No problem. But they got to make money too. And Baker Mayfield, at least he's a recognizable figure. He's polarizing, but he's a popular guy. So that's one of the reasons why they're bringing him in. Obviously, they want a starter. They want a guy that's been there and played in big games, at the quarterback position. Because, again, you're following the GOAT, Tom Brady. And, of course, it'd be silly to think that Baker's even a fourth of what Tom Brady is. But, what's Kyle Trask? Let's be honest. I've only seen him once in a regular season game. If the Bucs were so invested in Kyle Trask, why did you go out and sign Baker Mayfield? Sorry, it's just my opinion. They're not fully invested in Trask yet. I don't think. That's just my opinion. So, with that being said, we're going to talk some other stuff in a minute, but let me get to the comments right now. We got a lot of comments coming in. I appreciate all that, guys. Let's just do it here. Let's get started. Scott Thaler first. Ray Kennedy first. Scott, not I was. Okay. Johnny Dean first, not. All right. So we're going to settle this right now. You three guys, Scott, Ray, and Johnny. Who do I say is first? I say, I don't give a shit. All right. Johnny, wait, Ben, you're a Bucs fan? Wow, I never knew that. Yeah, believe it or not, I am. Scott Taylor, give Baker an O-line, he can win for any team. Well, Baker is definitely better with an offensive line. Look at what he did in Cleveland. They had a very good offensive line, one of the better ones in the league. And the Panthers was not good. The Rams for a few minutes there, Scott, definitely helped you out. No doubt about it. But again, if you're asking Baker to be a guy that can lead a team with an average line, average weapons, no. He's one of those quarterbacks that needs some good players around him. And the one thing the Bucs do have is good players around him. Tristan Wirfs on the line. You got Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Rachaad White. So you got good players on that team for him. So he should be able to do okay. we'll see what happens. Johnny, come on, Baker's here because of the base salary, $4 million plus incentives. Yeah, he is, but again, Johnny, I just think that if the Bucks were fully invested in Kyle Trask, I don't think you're bringing Baker here. You're probably going to bring somebody like a Gardner Minshew in or a Drew Lock in. Guys that are, not as good as Baker, but not as bad as Kyle Trask. Well, I'm not saying Kyle Trask is bad because we don't know. He's only played 1 quarter or 2 quarters of a football NFL regular season game. We haven't seen enough of him. Now, I get it. He's a second-round pick. And I know, Johnny, you mentioned that they need to play him or else Light could be in trouble. I don't think that's the case. Excuse me. Jason Light's I will say that this is his first true test now without Tom Brady, how good a GM he can be. But again, they feel like they can win now with Baker more than they can with Kyle. That's what I get out of it. So Bucks officially released Lenny today. Leonard Fournette, yeah, officially released him. Leonard was a good player, man. I enjoyed watching him. Last year, listen, I got to be honest with Fournette. He came in overweight, and I don't think he came in as, and this is going to sound ironic, as hungry. I know that's a weird segue, but we didn't get the Leonard that we would have liked to have seen. Yeah, he had some injuries, but I think that those injuries it's kind of like James Harden, where he was in his last year in Houston with the Rockets. Look how overweight he was. And what happened? He had a hamstring injury after that. So coming in not being in the best shape may have caused his injuries, And I felt like Leonard Fournette kind of had that Jacksonville attitude before they released him. Like, look, I got the ring already. I got the bag, the money. Some players get a little complacent, and I think that's what happened with Leonard Fournette. That's my opinion on that anyway. So, but Leonard was great for us, 2020 and 2021. He helped us win a Super Bowl, was a key piece to what the Bucks did. So give him credit. He was definitely a big factor in the Bucks Super Bowl win, along with Gronk, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and of course, Tom Brady in that offensive line. So, Johnny says Scott Taylor's the inspiration for Whitey on 8 Crazy Nights. Oh, that's pretty good. Williams is going to the LA Rams. We'll see. I don't know. Let's see. Facebook user. Let's see. See who that is. I think this is Corey. Let me check. If it's not, correct me on that. I'm interested in wide receiver Adam Thielen or Isaiah McKenzie. Bucks could sign him to a 1-year deal. We already got receivers there. Facebook users. Because we got Godwin, Evans, Russell Gage reworked his deals. So, yeah, you could add some receivers, but they may do that in the draft. Say his name, Lamar Jackson. Okay, Lamar Jackson. Bucks only have one best tight end, Case Otton. Yeah, O'Keefe, he did pretty good as well. He's got some learning to do, but he needs experience. He's a project, but Keefe, he's a pretty good blocking tight end. I would take a chance on him. Johnny, Gardner Minshew signs with the Colts for $3.5 million base max contract. Baker signs for $4 million base, $8 million max contract. Jacoby Brissett signs with Washington for $11 million. Who do you really think is most likely to start this year? Baker Mayfield. Out of those three, I would say Baker. Washington's going to probably start Sam Howell. Shout out to Sean Spencer, Will Kramer, those guys. They're big Washington fans, and they're going to go with Howell. Minshew with the Colts. I mean, I think the Colts are going to draft a quarterback, probably Will Levis. So to me, that leaves me to believe that it's going to be Baker. Again, Johnny and everybody out there, I just believe that if Baker coming here is a sign that he's going to start. I just don't think the Bucs are truly invested in Kyle Trask just yet. It's just my opinion. So that question, yeah, I think it's Baker. Winfield Jr. only best safety. Bucs have Mike Edwards to resign. Yeah, they're looking into that. And Winfield. That's another thing. The Bucs. Signing these kind of 1-year deals. They got to make sure they have money for Antoine when he's available for free agency in 2020 at the end of the 2024 season. So he's one of those guys that we definitely, as a Bucs fan, we need to try and secure and keep him here for a long time. So we'll see what happens. Sean Murphy-Bunting, more like Richard Sherman. Nah, not really. I mean, Sean Murphy-Bunting's a guy who he's a good athlete. I was never really high on him just because, and people will say, well, that shouldn't matter, but the guy played at Central Michigan, and he was kind of a big fish in a small pond. He's one of those corners that he needed development. He was a project, and a lot of it was injuries. He couldn't stay healthy. He a great athlete, but he needs a lot of work. If he can go on a team that can develop his skills better, and he could be on a good defense where, he doesn't have to do a lot. He can come in spurts, stay healthy. Then he could probably stay in the league for a good 5 to 10 years. But he's not bad. He's just not anything special. And I'm glad we were able to sign Jamel Dean back. So, I wish the best for Sean Murphy-Bunting. An NFL team will sign him. He may even start. So, good luck to him. Johnny says Shaq Barrett needs to resign. Yeah. I think we definitely need to resign him because he's one of the better linebackers in the league. Hopefully he can come back from that torn ACL and play at a high level again. Shaq already under contract? Well, yeah, but it's coming. But I mean, he's got like no guaranteed money, I think, after 2023, I believe. Maybe I'm wrong on that. I don't know. Johnny Dream meant restructure Corey King Brown. Yeah. And they may have to do that. They may still have to restructure that deal. Johnny Dean, don't you dare talk bad about my girlfriend, Darcy Glazer. Well, she's married. I don't know if she's your girlfriend, but Darcy's, does a lot of good things behind the scenes for the organization. I have no problem with her. It's just that, this could be a whole episode in itself. As far as talking about the Glazers, I love Malcolm Glazer. He really saved that Bucs franchise. Obviously, the older Bucs fans know we had an owner named Hugh Cloverhouse who was, let's just face it, he was cheap and was not a very good man. And Malcolm came in, bought the team. God bless him. Rest in peace, Mr. Glazer. He had a great GM in Rich McKay. The difference between, and real quick, for some historical purposes, talk about this real quick. The difference between Malcolm and his kids Malcolm let his football people take care of business. The Glazers, his sons, Joel, Brian, Ed, they're not football people. They're businessmen. Before like Tom Brady came along, the Glazers, talking about the Suns, kind of, stuck their hands in the cookie jar. Didn't let their football people do football things. I'll give you a good example real quick, and we'll get back to current stuff. Jameis Winston. That was a Glazer draft pick to sell tickets to the Florida State fan base, which, by the way, I'm a Florida State fan. Okay. So they made that move to sell tickets. Bottom line. And if anybody disagrees with me, that's fine. But I will always, die on that hill and tell you that that was a move. That's one of the many things the Glazer boys have done, which didn't turn out well, but they've always, kind of kept their noses in football business when they shouldn't have. Then Jason Licht comes along, then Bruce Arians comes along. Look what happens. Football people. They let football people do football things. Bucks got better. They won a Super Bowl. They're building up a good young core. Some good draft picks over the years. Okay. So if the Glazers just stay out of football business, then we'll be fine. But if they start sticking their noses in it again, then we're going to have a problem. So anyway, enough about those guys. Let's read some more comments. He can't still be on IR. Got weighed after preseason, I think. Okay, I think that's Corey. And by the way, there's my kitty, Penelope. Say hi to the camera. There you go. And she's like, Daddy, put me down. I don't like being in front of the camera. Okay. There you go. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Penelope making a run in. Johnny Dean says, I'm going to say it in Johnny Dean style. Stop, man. You don't know what they are invested in. Baker's a vet quarterback, which is needed in any team. Yeah. Yeah, he is. But again, I mean, come on, Johnny. We'll see what happens. Let's see who starts week 1, okay? I still feel like it's going to be Baker Mayfield. I don't think you bring him in unless you're trying to say he's our starter, okay? Now, yeah, they're going to tell you it's competition. But to me, you're not going to change my mind. I think Baker's going to be the guy. I'm not thrilled about that, but I'm not saying I'm thrilled about it, but that's just how I feel. I think that's what's going to happen. Baker had one good game with the Rams. Was that against Denver, I think? Yeah. Bills need released Von Miller, always injured, not the same player since 2016 Super Bowl champion with the Broncos. Yeah. Yeah, he's that's too bad about Von Miller. I mean, great player, but he's had his injuries, and hopefully Buffalo can get him back healthy again. As you see a tail just standing there, and he's on camera again. Hi guys. Tell you what, Daddy will give you attention in a little bit, okay? Gotta do a show right now. All right. All right. And she did another run-in. So, yeah, that's Penelope, by the way. And let's see, with all stars, players injured, Baker did really great. Yeah, not bad. No, I give him props. He did pretty good. I'll give him credit for that. You know, he was good for a few games. If Kyle Trask start 0-4, then Baker Mayfield get the start. Yeah, if Kyle Trask beats out Baker Mayfield in camp, but I still contend that Baker will start for the Bucks. Just my opinion. Johnny, look at the players passed over to take Trask. If he don't play this year, Jason will definitely be on the hot seat. We'll see. I don't know. You know, Baker, Jason brought him in. So I think he's confident that Baker may be the guy. So who knows if it don't work out? Yeah, there'll definitely be a lot of criticism with Baker Mayfield being, the starting quarterback. But again, we'll see what happens. It is Corey. Yep. Adam Thielen is already on another team. Okay. O'Keefe is a fullback. Yeah, fullback. He's played some tight end as well, Johnny. And Ben Cornett, you're really trying to make me do a rant show. Oh, good. Let me know. I'll come in. I'll join you. Winfield Jr., Devin White, Mike Evans, free agents 2024. Yeah. Well, I think guys like Mike Evans are going to stick around. I don't see him in another uniform. Winfield, I think, is coming back as well. Devin White could be the wild card because who knows? It depends how he plays this year. If he plays well, then yeah, I definitely think he gets another contract with the Bucks. But if not, if he has an up and down year, then who knows? Bucks may not bring him back. I think that Whitey comment might have been racist. I don't think it is. Achilles tear, not no ACL tear. Yeah, okay. I stand corrected. It is an Achilles, which actually is even worse because that's the behind your foot and I'm behind my cat now. Look at that. It's you taking over my show, Penelope. Oh man. Yeah, I think you went out of my room, don't you? I'm gonna take a quick little break. I'm gonna let my cat out. I guess she's gotta go to the bathroom and get something to drink. So I will be right back. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, she wanted to come out for a few minutes, so it's like, Daddy, let me out. Johnny Dean, Mike Evans is restructuring. Winfield and White will be free agents next year. Who gets restructured? That's a good question. I had some issues with Malcolm myself, Chucky, for instance, in his contract. Yeah, that's a fair point, Johnny. I mean, Malcolm did approve that move, but we won a Super Bowl. Yeah, it wasn't good. And that's why I felt like, and real quick, speaking of Lamar Jackson, that's why I really didn't want them to go out and get Jackson because you'd have to give up 2 first rounders. And we saw what happened when the Bucks gave up 2 first rounders for John Gruden. Didn't turn out well. And we don't need a repeat of that. So that's a fair point. I'll give you that. Lots of laughs. Just kidding. Johnny is a great guy when he's sleeping. Yeah, it's nice of you, Scott. Johnny Dean, the Glazer boys. Yeah, I agree. Darcy came over in 2019 and got shit right. Hey, behind every good woman, that's what they say. Meow. Yes, meow. Shut up, man. No, I won't shut up. This is my show. You shut up. Vaughn is back at Buffalo. Meow. Meow. 2-4, really good. I don't know what you meant by that, but Johnny, they took Baker because he accepted the $4 million base contract. Period. He may play if Trask blows it. That's it. No, I still think he's going to start, whether Trask blows it or not. It'll be Mayfield. So Johnny, hate to say it, but you may be getting used to this. So not a fan of it either, but that's probably what's going to happen. Just saying. Shut up, Whitey. Okay. Meow. So, luck you, Johnny Dean. Okay. Jason Light should get kicker gold. Let Ryan suck up go. I wouldn't mind bringing Robbie Gould in. Suck up's a contract casualty, though. Gold would probably cost you some money as well. I expect the Bucs to go out and either get one in free agency or, God forbid, Light drafts another kicker. We'll see. Will Jason Light draft a kicker, Corey? As long as it's not in the third round. Yeah, we remember Mr. Roberto Aguayo. That'll be the last time we bring up that name on the show. And Scott says, you all laughed at me when I said Baker would go to the Bucs. No, I didn't laugh. I said that was a possibility. And, because again, given our financial restraints, that was a real possibility, Scott. So where did Matt Gay go? I don't know. You tell me, Scott. I know where he went, but I don't have to tell you. All right. There were some other NFL free agent signings as well. We'll get into that as well. Obviously, one that did show up. Well, it's not official yet, but they had agreed to terms, but then there's supposed to be a press conference yesterday that didn't happen. That's Mr. Jimmy Garoppolo. He is a Raider now. Well, not officially yet. They're supposed to have a press conference here in Vegas yesterday that got postponed. There are no details behind that. It could be several different things. Could be, a failed physical, perhaps. You got to remember, he's had injuries. What if something came up in the physical that kind of held off, from signing him? We don't know. Or it could be just like stipulations in the contract, some wording in there that happens pretty much most of the time. And that's kind of what I expect there is it's pretty much just some few details on the contract they may adjust. So I'm thinking that's more the case, just more adjustments. But either way, I still think Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be a Vegas Raider. And in fact, I did see earlier that he already has a welcoming committee here. So we'll post that up. There you go. Look at that. Look at those lovely ladies right there. Hookers for Jimmy G. And how about that? Look at, I'll tell you what. Jimmy Garoppolo's got an incredible fan base. And especially here in Vegas, the ladies love Jimmy. All right, ladies of the Moonlight Bunny Ranch, they are ready for Jimmy Garoppolo. A little funny thing too is across the street from Allegiant Stadium, where the Raiders play, there is a strip club, Hustler. I know, I'm not kidding. You go to Allegiant Stadium, across the street a little bit, there's a strip club. How ironic is that, right? Yeah. That's Vegas for you. Johnny says, first round, we draft a kicker this time. I love you for that, Johnny. Scott Thaler likes Gay. Yeah. A lot of them do. Matt Gay went to the Colts. How's your bracket doing, Ben Cornett? I won't say it, but I'll do it in typical Johnny Dean fashion. That's how my brackets went. Johnny Dean, Jimmy B. Pimpin. Yeah, absolutely. Porn stars, you name it. He is a pimp. Subway commercials. Ben, you be to the ranch? I'd rather not say on this show. Scott Thaler, Ben shut down the Bunny Ranch. No, I did not. It is still there, so you're wrong, Johnny. Facebook user, I saw rumor 49er trade top pick, draft picks, and trade target for Lamar Jackson. I assume that's Mr. Corey Brown. I don't know about that. And lots of laughs. All right. We've had lots of laughs on this show. Yeah. Well, speaking of March Madness, real quick, so far it's been great. Maybe not great for me. Obviously, I picked Arizona to win it all, and they lost on the first day to Princeton. But I did fill out another bracket before that. I have a backup, and I picked Kansas to win it all, so I'm still there, baby. I can still win it. We have some other games going on. I thought yesterday we had Furman upsetting Virginia. Mr. Alex Schomber on our 2-3 Ben Zone. Shout out to him. He called it. He said Furman would upset Virginia, and he was right. So props to Mr. Alex Schomber. Yeah, I think I'll look at the scores real quick right now. It's tied at 67 between Kennesaw State and Xavier. Also, Michigan State beat USC today, 72-62. Baylor's in a tight one with UC Santa Barbara in the second half early on. And St. Mary's is up by 1 over VCU, which is getting close to halftime. So a lot of those 5-12 matchups are interesting, along with the 3 and 14 seeds. Real quick, let me check on some scores here. Anything can happen live, people. So yeah, it's still tied at 67 between Xavier and Kennesaw State. Let's go back to the comments here. Johnny Dean says Lamar is not going anywhere. And I agree with you, Johnny. I think he'll end up coming back to Baltimore. They'll figure out a new deal for him. So how's Kansas doing, Ben? Well, they won last night. They beat Howard. Missouri won their game yesterday. That's right, Scott. They beat Utah State. They're on to the second round. They're going to play, I think is it Princeton? I think they play Princeton the next round. So I believe that's who it is. Also, by the way, I want to say, as far as free agent signings go, Dolphins tight end Mike Gesicki, he signed with the New England Patriots, a 1-year deal. I think that's a solid move for the Patriots. Gives Mac Jones a tight end. Good move for them. It's only a 1-year deal, but I think if Gesicki plays well this year, he might get a bigger deal. So we'll see what happens with that. Corey says Leonard Fournette signed with the Saints, home again, LSU. Is that official? Didn't see that. Maybe Corey, Lenny thinks he's going to a championship team. That is not the Saints, sir. Well, I guess it's official. I guess he did sign with the Saints then. Okay. Interesting signing. It kind of makes sense because Fournette went to LSU. He's from Louisiana, so yeah, that's an interesting signing to say the least. If that's the case, I don't know. I would say Lenny may go to the Dolphins. Okay, well, that'd be a good move too. And I just read that Jimmy Garoppolo's deal is done. It is official. He is now a Raider. So once again, let's here in Las Vegas, let's welcome Mr. Garoppolo to the Las Vegas Raiders. There we go. Not a bad fan base right there. Well, I thought Tickle Me Elmo was a good one. Okay. Yeah, it was a good one. No Scott Taylor, it sucked. Oh, man. Yeah. So, and of course, we all know the big news as well. Aaron Rodgers has decided to go to the New York Jets. Yeah, if that's not the worst kept secret in the world, I don't know what is. I won't spend too much time on that, but that's not surprising. It's funny though how Mr. Aaron Rodgers is like in Green Bay. Well, come on, guys, you got to bring me weapons. And then in New York, he wants Lazard. He wants, other Packer receivers. So, the drugs that this guy consumes and, the amounts of it being in the dark for a few days kind of just gives you an idea of who Aaron Rodgers is and maybe not take him too seriously. But like I said, the Jets, they want to get a quarterback. The Zach Wilson experiment failed on him, and they feel he's the guy. So Aaron Rodgers will not talk to the press. Yeah. Aaron Rodgers gets to do what Aaron Rodgers wants to do, according to him. F. Rodgers. Well, Johnny, you could have put the UCK next to the F on there. Would have been more appropriate. And let's see. Corey said, never mind, read it wrong. Saints should sign Leonard Fournette because Alvin Kamara is facing suspension. Yeah, and that's another thing for the Saints. Kamara's not going to be there for a while. So, that may hurt the Saints and may hurt Derek Carr. Well, no, because they got, what's his name? Jamal Williams from the Lions. That's another big signing. Feel bad for my guy, Alex Loosemore. He was a good running back, but I think he wanted more money, and the Saints were able to pay him what he wanted. So, yeah, but that was a good move by the Saints, getting Jamal Williams. I'm sure he's going to be starting right away. So, yeah, I forgot about that. So maybe the Saints aren't so off. And they don't need a Leonard Fournette now. So if you sign Jamal Williams. Haha, Ben, I was trying to be polite. Well, you are. You're being very polite, Johnny. LA Rams need a great running back. What do you mean? The great Cam Akers is not a great running back? Miami for Fournette. I could see that. I could really see that. Zeke Elliott next. Todd Gurley retired young. No, I think Zeke's going to go somewhere. The Bucks are been reported to show interest. I don't see that happening, but who knows? Johnny says Chase to the Bucks was a really good understated pickup. Yeah, Chase Edmonds. That's another one for the Bucks. Not bad. 1-year deal. Him with Shad White, Keyshawn Vaughn. Be a nice little duo. Little running back duo in Tampa. I'm good with the signing. I think he'd be a good backup for with Shad White. I don't see anything wrong with that. So right now, if you're watching March Madness, Xavier's up 70-67. Kennesaw State has the basketball. And oh, no good. Let's see what happened. Oh, he stepped out. Okay. Well, Xavier's going to win that game. So no upset there. But there could be more upsets tonight as well. Chase is here to win the starting running back spot. He may actually do it. Yeah, anything can happen, Johnny, but I think Rashad White's going to get the starting job. Even if Chase does have a good training camp, just draft a Georgia running back. They always work out for the NFL. Maybe go ahead and draft him, Scott, in the 3rd or 4th round when you have your first pick. Ben is doing an Alex Schomburg imitation. Yeah. No, I'm not, because I'm not in my bed. I'm not on Twitch. I'm not looking at my phone every 10 minutes, every 2 minutes. Cooper Rush resigned Cowboys. Watch out, Dak Prescott. Trade Keyshawn Vaughn, late pick draft. Okay. Lots of laugh, Ben. You see what I did there? Chase is Baker. Lots of laughs. Good one, Johnny. Good one. Good idea, Carrie. Ooh, Corey, he called you Carrie. That's not very nice. Ouch. Or maybe that's a mistype, which it is, yeah. Corey. Okay. Yeah, get it right, Johnny. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, well, everybody, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this episode up. I want to thank everybody for the comments today. I had a lot of comments on here. Really appreciate that. Again, we did this show early today because I want to enjoy the rest of the college basketball games tonight. I know a lot of people are going to be watching college basketball as well. Plus, it's St. Patrick's Day. Everybody might be out enjoying the holiday, getting their corned beef and cabbage on. Nothing wrong with that. That's good stuff. And happened to be home today, so I could do this show early. But next week, we're going to be back at our normal time, 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific for episode 15. Guess we could read a few more comments here. You should hear what Johnny Dean calls me. What does he call you, Scott? You're welcome and good show. Thank you, Johnny. Appreciate that. And I appreciate everybody for tuning in today here on Have At It, episode 14. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here, but I want to wish everybody, again, a happy St. Patrick's Day. Enjoy the weekend, and we will see you next week, next Friday night, here on Have At It, episode 15. I'm your host, Ben Cornett, and please like and share this show and subscribe. I greatly appreciate that. Get my name out there, get this show out there so we can get more viewers. Just give it a like and subscribe. So everybody, have a good rest of the weekend, and I will see you next week. Take care.